In today's Farm Report, employee management is important in any business, including agriculture. Emily Wilmes with the University of Minnesota Extension Service Office shares some tips on how farmers can manage their employees.
If your farm has employees, you know that managing them well is important. Well-managed employees are happy, more efficient workers. In addition, they are more likely to stay, and you don't have to worry about any bad PR coming from them related to your farm and management. How can you be a good employer and an even better manager? Here are some quick tips for employee management. It all starts with their first day on the job. Provide thorough, adequate training for employees in the areas they will be working in. Also, give them a general overview of the farm so they can see how everything works together and feel better prepared if you ask them to help in a different area when in a jam. Training doesn't end on the first day. Schedule regular meetings with your employees to review standard operating procedures, any changes in protocol, and seek out any issues or questions your employees may have. Have posters and/or books of standard operating procedures posted or readily available. If need be, have these items printed in both English and Spanish. Seeing a reminder of what is expected every day will help keep employees on task and performing to your standards. Be approachable. Remind your employees that they can come to you at any time with questions or concerns. When you see employees throughout the day, ask them how they are doing and if they have any questions about their duties. Make your goals clear. The goals you have for your farm should also be your employees' goals for your farm. Keeping them in the loop and even asking their opinion will make them more invested and interested in the farm's success. Give credit where credit is due. Many of the operations I have seen with outstanding employee management do an excellent job of commending their employees on a job well done. Consider a small bonus for milkers when you get an SCC bonus on the milk check. Reward employees if you have a successful inspection. This ties into keeping them invested and interested in the success of the farm. If they all share in the success, they will likely be more willing to keep it up. Having and keeping good employees includes being a good manager. Is there anything else you would add to this list? This is Emily Wilmes with University of Minnesota Extension.
Increase funding for collaborative forest landscape restoration projects. That's one of the requests of USDA's proposed fiscal year 2016 budget for the U.S. Forest Service. Forest Service Chief Tom Tidwell discussed the request before a House Appropriations Subcommittee Tuesday.
These projects that we now have 23 spread across the country have proven that when we make a commitment for a multi-year level of funding to large landscapes and work under a collaborative effort, we can make a significant difference over time. It provides a certainty for industry to be able to invest because they understand this is a multi-year commitment.
The budget request calls for an increase from $40 to $60 million in the Collaborative Forest Landscape Restoration Program, and a proposal to eventually increase funding to $80 million. The chief says this will allow the Forest Service to add up to as many as 10 additional projects and extend authority for the program to the year 2024 to complete new projects. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
Hypocalcemia, also known as milk fever, can impact how a cow performs in the lactating herd. Emily Wilmes with the University of Minnesota Extension Service Office talks about milk fever and how to keep cows happy and healthy.
On many dairy farms, hypocalcemia is a problem farmers are aware of, but it's not an issue at the front of their minds. And perhaps it should be. Hypocalcemia could have a larger impact on the success of herds than previously thought. Hypocalcemia cannot be successfully managed in a reactive fashion as the repercussions of the disorder have already set in. Prevention programs must be in place in order to successfully transition cows into lactation, as well as ensure that these cows have good reproductive performance to follow. Classic signs of milk fever are cows that are staggering, have cold ears, and lie in a tucked head position. During the transition period, there is a dramatic shift in biological processes, and the demand for calcium is doubled with the onset of lactation. Calcium is a major cellular signal needed for a range of biological functions. Secondary risks include issues with muscle contraction, lowered gut motility, displaced abomasum, ketosis, and fatty liver. There are also economic losses associated with hypocalcemia that come in a variety of forms. Decreased milk production, poor subsequent reproductive performance, and culling can all have a negative impact on profitability. In addition, calcium is an important second messenger in immune responses. The cow's ability to combat infections declines once hypocalcemia sets in. Incidence of mastitis and metritis increases following hypocalcemia. A proven method for controlling hypocalcemia is the use of a prepartum diet with the negative dietary cation-anion difference, or DCAD. By keeping out cations, sodium and potassium, and using anions, chloride, and sulfate, the DCAD becomes more negative. This helps the cow prepare for partition and mobilization of calcium stores. Diets can be made more anionic by the use of supplementary anion products. However, first rations should lower the potassium and sodium content before these products are added. Hypocalcemia is a detrimental disorder that affects health, lactation, and reproductive performance in too many dairy cows. Having tailored management programs in place helps successfully transition these cows. If you have any additional questions on hypocalcemia, call me at the Stearns County Extension Office at 320-255-6169. This is Emily Wilmus with University of Minnesota Extension.
Last year, we saw our food prices go up 2.4% overall.
And in 2015, we're expecting grocery store prices to rise 2 to 3%.
So that's about the same food price inflation as last year. And Agriculture Department economist Anne-Marie Coons says most of the noticeable price hikes this year are going to be coming in the same products as 2014.
There's going to be a lot of the items around the perimeter of the store, some of the meats, produce, that we'll see slightly higher than average inflation than a lot of the goods within the center aisle. So the non-perishable goods, cereals, bakery products, sugars and sweets, and non-alcoholic beverages.
Now, we beef lovers are already paying 19% more than this time a year ago. And guess what for this year?
We are forecasting beef and veal prices to rise 5 to 6%.
Pork to rise 1.5 to 2.5. Dairy products up 2 to 3%. Both those forecasts, though, are down a little bit from Anne-Marie's previous forecast. Gary Crawford for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Washington.